Webinar, let us now bow down our heads and feel the presence of our Lord through the invocation followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyat ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dilagang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligdig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsintabay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya dapat may mga abi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Blessed day to all of us. Welcome to the Philippine Women's University's School of Food Science and Technologies 2-day free webinar series entitled Convergence and Divergence of Food Science and Food Safety, with the theme Empowering a Food Secure Nation, Harmonizing Food Science and Safety through Quality Education and Practices. This is our second day, but before we start our webinar, I would like to inform our dear participants regarding our house rules to follow during our webinar proper. This seminar is being live streamed on Zoom, YouTube, and the PWU Facebook page. Reminders: for proper identification, kindly follow the proper name format, affiliation / full name. For example, ABC Corporation / Juan de la Cruz. Number 2, make sure your audio is muted to avoid unnecessary noise. Next, if you have questions or concerns, kindly write them down in the chat boxes. This will be answered by the speakers during the open forum session. Lastly, fill out the attendance and evaluation forms later for the issuance of the certificate of attendance. Moving on, yesterday we had 3 sessions covering different topics. We had yesterday sessions 1, the 3S of health and wellness, sound, safe, and sustenance, where we learned about the microbiome and its importance to our health. What foods and food supplements we can take to help us improve our microbiome. Session 2, on the other hand, entitled Government Initiatives to Combat Filipino Lifestyle Diseases, was all about trans fat in food and how it affects our health. Substitutes for sugar were also discussed, and the regulations being implemented in our country, such as the sugar tax. Lastly, at session 3, entitled Intermingling of Food Science and Technology and Food Safety to Attain Food Security from Farm to Fork, the speakers discussed how food safety can prevent food waste and food loss, as well as emerging technologies on processing food waste and the proper labeling for our food products. Today, what we can expect from our speakers are the discussion of what is food safety culture. But before we proceed with the lecture, let me give the floor first to Ma'am Nelly for a little energizer this morning. Ma'am Nelly?
All right, good morning, everyone. So welcome back to our yesterday's contenders and welcome first timer. So before we begin our discussion for today, let's assess our understanding regarding the food safety culture in the Philippines. All you have to do is click on the link in the comment section or scan the QR code, place your nickname, and let's go. So the top 3 participants who will be at the top leaderboard will receive special prizes for today. So the top 1 will receive 300 pesos, the top 2 will receive 200 pesos, and the top 3 will get 100 pesos. But please, screenshot your winnings and send it to Sir Ryan V. Cabanatan's Facebook Messenger as a receipt. Remember, only 100 participants can enter our Kahoot. So, what are you waiting for? Scan the code now. So, while waiting for you guys, I want to share a did you know fact for today. So, did you know that in the Philippines, kamayan is a popular dining practice where people eat with their hands. While it's a cultural tradition, it is also important to ensure hands are thoroughly washed to maintain food safety and prevent contamination. All right, I see 27, 28 participants entering our Kahoot. And habol pa tayo before we begin. So I want to thank you all for attending today, even though my class suspension. Thank you, guys. So, all right, I think we're ready. So Ryan, let's begin. So, our first question is a quiz time. So, the following are management commitment in EU 2021/382 except red, maintaining integrity of FSMS, blue, not attending audits, orange, training and supervision, and green, compliance to regulatory. The following are management commitment in EU 2021/382 except. So the answer is blue, not attending to the audits. All right. For our score leaderboard, we have XC as our top one. Next question. True or false? Establishment and maintenance of a positive food safety culture is not important in any food hygiene system. True or false? Establishment and maintenance of a positive food safety culture is not important in any food hygiene system. So the answer is false. It is important. Alright, nagbabago ang ating leaderboard. So we still have XC as our top one. Next question. Management commitment is not important in the food safety culture building. True or false? Management commitment is not important in the food safety culture building. And we still have 17. All right, the answer is false. A management commitment is important. Wow, congratulations, Kat, for being the highest climber for today and XC as our top one. Next question. The following are the key areas for a positive food safety culture except red, management commitment, blue, continual improvement, orange, resources, and green, stagnating on the old process. So the following are the areas for a positive food safety culture except. Okay, we still have 6, 5. The answer is stagnating on the old process. So let's see, we still have XC as our top leaderboard and RM the next. So for our fifth question, the following are the principles of European Union Regulation 2021/382 except red, establish, blue, document, orange, maintain, and green, evidence. So the following are the principles of European Union Regulation 2021/382 except. Okay, the correct answer is blue, document. Well, we have a new top climber for the score leaderboard. We have 9817672 as our top one. Next question. It's a quiz type. So, PDCA is a method of 4-step framework used in continuous improvement, which is not part of PDCA. Red, plan, blue, do, orange, act, and green, calculate. So PDCA is a method of 4-step framework used in a continuous improvement, which is not a part of PDCA. So the answer is green. Ayan. Calculate. So we still have 9817672 as top leaderboard, followed by Jen. So for our last question, lead by example is to guide others through your behavior instead of words. True or false? Lead by example is to guide others through your behavior instead of your words. So, the answer is true. Okay, let's see our top leaderboard. We have Kat in third place, Jen in second place, and our first place is 9817672. So, congratulations, guys, and thank you for being so active in this activity. Sabay-sabay tayong mag-sana all winner. But it's not the end of the fun. Later, we will have more activities in store for you. Back to you, Ma'am Ellie.
Okay, sana all winners. So I hope you are all warmed up. We will now proceed with our webinar proper. So brace yourself, participants, as we give you our experts on the topic. Our moderator for session 4 is Mr. Edward Geronimo. He is a graduate of BSBA Operation Management with more than 10 years of experience in the food manufacturing and supply chain. He is currently working as a production manager for a manufacturing plant in Taguig. So now, let us welcome Sir Edward. Sir Edward, the floor is yours.
Welcome to this informative session where we will unravel the concept of food safety culture in the world of food production and consumption. Ensuring the safety and integrity of the product we consume is paramount. Despite the numerous regulation and quality control measures in place, why do complaints and product recalls continue to common occurrences? Is there a crucial element missing the existing system? Is this why the concept of the food safety culture has been introduced in the recent years? Today, we'll dive deep into the essence of food safety culture, exploring its components and how we can implement it in our organization. In my over 10 years of experience, I have observed how it has evolved and increasingly prioritized by the company I'm in. It has become more than just a buzzword, but a critical aspect of our food safety management system. So fasten your seatbelts, kapit po tayo as we embark on the journey of food safety culture and understand what it's truly all about. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our esteemed panel of speakers, each of whom brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our virtual stage today. Our first speaker, who will give us an overview about what food safety culture is, Ms. Dasa May Dolom. Ms. Dolom is an accomplished professional food technologist and experienced in handling people and establishing systems and procedures for food safety. Next to Ms. Dolom is Ms. Bernalyn Tiam, who will give us a different perspective on food safety culture. She is a registered chemist with more than 20 years of experience and has helped many organizations be certified to HACCP, ISO 22000, and FSSC as a consultant. Currently, she is a food safety standard advisor in an international non-government organization. Last but definitely not the least is Ms. Evangeline Tayag. Ms. Tayag is a professional food technologist with extensive experience in food manufacturing in all aspects of food production, food quality, and food safety. She will discuss the topic of food safety culture, practical approach. I'm excited to hear her insight on how to establish a positive food safety culture in an organization. So to start the session, let us hear it from Ms. Jasa Maydolom. Ms. Jasa, the floor is yours.
Kindly wait for a while we are checking our technical Okay, kindly hold on, participants, while we were checking some of our technical. Sir Edward. Okay, while checking for the system, I hope everybody is ready, and I hope everyone will listen as we embark on food safety culture. Sir Edward, good morning. While we're waiting from our speakers, so how was yesterday's webinar? I hope everybody was had a nice okay, while waiting for them. Ma'am Verna, Ma'am Vanji, how are you? So I hope everybody will be as excited as we are.
Yes, we are
So Ma'am
waiting for
Jessa,
our turn.
okay. So Ma'am Verna, are
Okay,
you ready?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay, for those who are already in the webinar, kindly fill up the attendance form. And later on, we will post the evaluation form. For those who were not able to fill up the evaluation form yesterday, kindly drop us an email. And for those who wanted to get the speaker's copy, please chat down also. Okay. Yesterday, there were some requests about our presentation. So kindly drop us a chat in our chat boxes in Facebook and YouTube. Write down which topic you wanted the copy of the presentation.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Oh, I believe everything's all right now. Ma'am Jessa, are you there? Ma'am Jessa. Ma'am Jessa.
Hello, ma'am. Hey, hello, ma'am.
Ma'am Jessa, you're good to go. Okay. Go on. Ma'am Jessa is our first speaker for today. Ma'am Jessa.
Good day,
Jessa.
everyone. By the way, thank you, Sir Edward, for that wonderful introduction. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So, to all our viewers from the different platforms, our dear professors and faculty members, good morning. Before we begin, I would like to ask everyone, are you the type of one who is too choosy of the kind of place they would like, rather in terms of cleanliness? I'm not sure about the percentage, but I am one of those who checks out the place for them. And once that restore food product, um, once that restore food product fails to achieve my requirement, I no longer go back to that place. You can say that I'm so maarte because I know I really am. I used to eat a lot of street foods back then, but ever since I studied food science, food safety, I became the person that I am now. I became too choosy. That is why this topic is very close to my heart, which is food safety. So I'll be giving you an overview on what food safety culture is all about.
let me first start by determining what is food safety culture. So, food safety culture is defined as the shared values, beliefs, and norms that affect the mindset and behavior towards food safety in, across, and throughout an organization. So basically, it's the way we do things around. Food safety refers to the assurance that the food we manufacture and or prepared is free from any forms of hazards, whereas culture is about how the human intellect behaves depending on where he came from and how he was raised. So now let's find out the different factors that affect the mindset and behavior of an individual. The first one is national culture. So I have a very good example for this one. Do you believe in the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness? Some of you may believe, some of you may not, but in Japan, it is part of their it all actually started with their religion, Shintoism, wherein they believe that evil is associated with dirtiness and good with cleanliness. So I think that is what the main reason why Japan is very known for being clean. Unlike in the Philippines, we just tend to throw things out everywhere anyway. What because we think that there are people who will do the cleaning for us. Then our upbringing. So depending on how your parents raised you, are they strict or are they too loving to the point that they won't even let you lift a finger? Life is so did you get sick after eating contaminated food to the point that you can't eat food outside unless it is prepared by someone you know? So that's basically the factors that affects you growing up. So it also depends in the workplace on the other hand, and even in our day-to-day lives, our mindset and behavior change depending on the group we identified with. Do you belong in my group, which is Marte, wherein cleanliness is a must in every aspect of food preparation? Or do you belong to that group who saw filthy stuff in your food and did it anyway? Those who believe that in wala pang 5 minutes, pwede pa yan. I used to be that kind of person, but after I started studying food tech, it changed my perspective on that. So it also the role and position you have, job security, formal and informal authority, and even your own habits and consciousness around the job could affect your mindset and behavior. So now that we understand the meaning of food safety culture, let's find out its importance. So why do you think food safety culture is important? According to CDC, the Center for Disease Control, out of 6 Americans usually get sick because of contaminated food. 48 million per year get sick, which is equivalent to 40 million each year. 128,000 gets hospitalized and 3,000 dies. So here are the top 5 pathogens which contribute to the acquired foodborne illness, such as Salmonella, Toxoplasma gondii, Listeria, Norovirus, and Campylobacter. Unfortunately, I was not able to gather data from the Philippines, but I have here the data from WHO. So we're in 600 million get sick because of contaminated food, which is equivalent to 1 out of 10 individuals around the world. 420,000 die each year, and 33 million healthy lives are lost. Here is a specific incident that happened back then. The E. coli outbreak in South Wales, wherein this 5-year-old kid here died after eating rabbit. Then in 2008, Peanut Corp of America released peanut products contaminated with salmonella, wherein 9 individuals died and 714 people get sick. So based on the investigation of these two incidents, it was found out that despite being trained on what is food safety, they failed to comply with the requirements, such as food hygiene practices, separation of raw to cooked products, falsification of records, and completely disregarding food safety and health of the consumers. Because of this incident, a food safety culture was established, which reminds me of the book, The Jungle. Do any of you know this book? This book was written by Upton Sinclair in 1905, wherein he released an expose about the meat manufacturing plant in the US. The main goal of this book was to help the workers who get sick because of the unhealthy working environment. But the readers focused more on its unsanitary working condition. That's why he said this. I aim at the public's heart, and by accident, I hit the stomach. This resulted in the enactment of Pure Food and Drug Act and Meat Inspection Act. After that incident, more food laws and regulations was established. But despite of having the knowledge of how the food should be prepared to keep it safe from consumption, incidents like the E. coli outbreak in 2005 and salmonella outbreak in 2008 still happen. And that is because just knowing what is right is not enough. You must also do it right. That's why we need to make food safety a part of our culture so that such incident won't happen again. Through this, we can now differentiate food safety programs from food safety. So, food safety program refers to the identification of and correcting nonconformances, whereas food safety culture refers to the identification and recognition of positive behavior. So, who do you think is involved in the implementation of food safety culture? Is it just the people in the kitchen? The production workers, QA/QC? Of course not. Because everyone in the organization, even our suppliers, distributors, are involved in the implementation of food safety. Each one of us has a role to fulfill to achieve the highest level of maturity of food safety culture. Purchasing should not only look for raw materials that are cheap, he or she must ensure that it also complies with the regulatory requirements. The maintenance should ensure that all equipment is working properly so that breakdowns during operation can be avoided. So for everyone to understand their roles and responsibilities in the implementation of food safety, each company should have proper training, which is specifically designed for them. Because food safety culture is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. So here are the 5 dimensions of critical components of food safety. Number 1 is vision and mission. Under vision and mission, we have business structures, values, and purpose. This is where you declare, you construct or create the vision and mission statement of your company. These statements do not need to specifically mention food safety, but they must make sure that its importance is reflected there. Then, setting direction and expectation. You must set the direction for your people. Define how you are going to accomplish your goal. Let them know what you expect from them by creating a matrix to determine how they are performing to accomplish those goals. Lastly, leadership and method. Make sure to communicate at all levels of the organizations, but you should not stop there. You must ensure that they really understand what you are talking about. With my years of experience in manufacturing, I usually hear this, alam na nila yan, ang tagal na kaya niyan. Let me say it again. It is not enough that you know. You must do it. And for them to do it, you must make them understand the why. Why do I need to monitor the temperature of storage every now and then? Why do I need to update the list of suppliers all the time? Why do we need to conduct training all the time? The next is people, which is the most critical component of food safety. Because again, food safety culture is all about the mindset and behavior of the organization. It includes the stakeholder, which refers to everyone from the supply chain, the service providers, the people within the organization, and even your distributors. All are involved in food safety. This is where the farm to fork concept. Then governance. So in order to achieve the highest maturity level, you must have a great leader, a leader who will empower his people to make the right decision. Next is communication. Encourage your people to speak up. Hindi yung ikaw na lang ng ikaw yung nagsasalita. Little did you know, they have much brighter ideas than you do, which may be much easier to achieve than that idea you have in your head. Because let's admit it, minsan sa sobrang complicated natin mag-isip, to the point na you're going to ask yourself, how am I going to accomplish this? That is why what I usually do before I create policies or forms, I usually ask them first, how do you usually do things before? And if I do this and that, will they be able to achieve the same result? Or do they have recommendations so we could meet halfway? Something like that. Then learning organizations. Do you believe in do you give them the proper training that they need? Is it enough? Do you think they totally understand everything you said? If you're going to read the new version of Codex, it specifically states there that you have to have an on-site verification of the training conducted. This is to identify if they fully understood everything you said and they are doing it. Lastly, incentives, rewards, and recognition. Give them credit for what they did. Based on research, money is not the only way to motivate people. Some people like me just want to be recognized for what I did. I just want to be told that great job. The third one is consistency. So when you are done creating the vision and mission statement and creating policies to be followed and train people, the next thing you must do is make sure that everything you have implemented is still being conducted. So to do this, we must have people who are accountable for the job. We must train our people, our frontline workers, to be leaders, so that if a problem occurs during operation, they know what to do instead of waiting for the decision from the top management. I worked with a big company for a project wherein they sent some of their staff to test their product in our facility. One thing that I have observed from them is that no one from them can make the decisions all by themselves. They must consult with the management every now and then, which led to so many delays. Then we have performance measurement, which is done to check if the target is met, identify what happened, and make adjustments to get back track again. Lastly, documentation. To ensure that you don't have to rely on one person's knowledge. Like when he or she is absent, what should I do? It is hard to rely on memory because as we get older, we tend to forget a lot of things. The fourth one is adaptability. As we all know, humans is known for being adaptable because it is part of our characteristic. Under adaptability, we have food safety expectations and current state. You must ensure that even during the time of crisis, food safety should always be considered by all levels of the organization. Because if food safety is at risk, you must abort whatever plan you have just for your company to survive. Next is agility. How fast do you respond to these kinds of incidents? You must be fast because time is one of the most important factors in food production. Lastly, change crisis management and problem solving. When a problem occurs, like for example, the pandemic, how did your food safety implementation change? How did you adjust? For the last one, we have hazard and risk awareness, which includes the foundational hazards and information and education. Everyone should know the hazards and risks. If they did not do their job right, they should be able to identify the consequences. Then, employee management engagement. When a problem occurs, discuss it with them. Ask for their opinions because they understand their job better. Lastly, verify hazard and risk awareness. Conduct audits to ensure that everything is in place. And if not, check where you failed. Conduct a root cause analysis. Regardless if you are encountering defects or complaints every now and then, it is important that you still verify the hazards and risks within the company so that you can prevent possible failure during operation. So the main goal of food safety culture is to educate, inform, and raise awareness to ensure that all members of the organization understand what food safety culture is all about and ensure that it is being conducted. So in order to achieve the highest maturity level, you must have the right people who are competent enough to do their task. Someone who has the right knowledge and skills, which can be developed through training. And lastly, attitude, which refers to the mindset and behavior of the members of the organization. The attitude of the members will highly depend on the leaders. A leader who is committed to his people, a leader who empowers his people and motivates them, and someone who listens, and whatever traits you can think of a great leader. So I have here the different ways to drive human behavior, such as shine the light, wherein you should recognize people who are doing their job and give them rewards if they do so. This is similar to carrot and stick approach, wherein you give rewards for a job well done and punishment once they fail to comply with the requirement. Sadly, most of the time, in an organization, only when you fail, you get the attention of your boss. And when you give you memo or ask you to pay for the damages you have caused. But when you did a great job, they will be just like, okay, thank you for doing your job. Then the herd effect, wherein everyone in the organization is doing it. So you have no choice but to do it as well. Next is follow my lead. I'm sure you all know the saying, a good leader is a good follower, right? Because you can't expect your people to do it if you yourself is not doing it. Then lastly, guilt and consent. When people understand the why, they will do it because they know it's the right. So let me end this with a quote from a fairy. Wherein, at the end of the day, when people choose to do something, even though it might take longer, even though it might interfere with their other duties, because they believe it is the right thing to do, then you know you are building a strong food safety culture. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. For you to further understand food safety culture, Ms. Bernalyn Tiama will be discussing the different perspective of food safety culture by the different organizations around the world. Again, thank you everyone. Have a good day.
What a very good overview on what food safety culture is, Ms. Chessa. So for now, I will be discussing the different perspective on the food safety culture. So what is it? In the view of regulators and certifying bodies, what are the elements in our organization that they are looking at to determine the food safety culture in a food business organization? So for this session, we'll be discussing the following. First, the objective of food safety culture. What are the benefits of having a positive food safety culture? Number two, we will also discuss the different elements of an organization and the different perspective of regulators and food safety certification bodies. And number three, or lastly, we will briefly discuss how food safety culture is measured in an organization. So the objectives of having a food safety culture would be first, to create a framework to produce a safe food and such that it does not pose a risk to consumers. And of course, to improve employee awareness and behavior regarding food safety. That also leads to an attentive and satisfied employees in the company who can identify with their employers, that also pay a high degree of attention to the safety and quality of production, and in the end motivate other employees to follow suit. So what are the elements of the food safety culture based on GFSI, or the Global Food Safety Initiative, the Codex Alimentarius, the European Union, the UK Food Safety Standards Agency, the food standards of Australia and New Zealand, and of course, the US FDA. We will dive into it in the next few slides. Okay? So for global food safety initiatives, in fact, they are the first to include a food safety culture in their requirement, in their position paper called a culture of food safety position paper from Global Food Safety Initiative, which was um, elaborately discussed by Ms. Jessa. Okay? So what is GFSI? So GFSI is actually a business-driven initiative for the development of food safety management system to ensure food facilities are processing safe food for consumers. It oversees and approves auditing platforms that meets their criteria. So actually this criterion provides a universal gold standard of recognition to specific food safety audits. In fact, I know you are very well aware of FSSC, BRC, SQF, the global GAP. So they do this by a benchmarking process. So in this practice, if you are certified to, say example, FSSC or BRC, you can say your customers that you have a structured, comprehensive, and effective food safety program. Okay, so what are the 5 dimensions of FSC, or food safety culture, based on global food safety initiatives? First is communication. Communication about food safety policies and responsibilities. Of course, the training. Then feedback from employees on food safety issues, which is very important, because if employees would not give feedback or report deviations, then it would be a big problem, right? And of course, performance measurement and senior management commitment. And the details of these 5 dimensions was already discussed earlier. In September 2020, in fact, recently, the Codex Alimentarius just recently revised the CXC1, which is the General Principles of Food Hygiene, wherein it introduces the food safety culture concept as a general principle. Okay, so what does it says? It says that to build a positive food safety culture, organizations must demonstrate commitment by encouraging appropriate food safety practices. And it also says that the establishment and maintenance of a positive food safety culture will really lead to a successful functioning of any food hygiene system. And of course, acknowledging the importance of the human behavior in providing safe and suitable food. Okay, so let us further discuss the elements in cultivating a positive food safety culture according to Codex. First is commitment. The commitment of the management and all personnel to the production and handling of safe food. Second is, of course, leadership. Leadership to set the right direction and to engage all personnel in food safety practices. Number 3 would be awareness of the importance of the food hygiene by all personnel in the food business. And number 4, open and clear communication and all personnel in the food business, including communication of deviations and expectations, and of course, the availability of sufficient resources to ensure the effective functioning of a food hygiene system. So after this, the codex, after revising the codex, in fact, the European Union followed suit. So what does it says? So it also includes the food safety culture in the Regulation 852 of 2004, which is amended to Regulation 2021-382. Okay, so anong sinasabi rin ng European Union sa kanyang about food safety culture? Okay, so actually it also says the same. Okay, the food business operator shall establish, maintain, and of course, they also included provide evidence of an appropriate food safety culture by fulfilling of, again, the commitment of the management and all employees to the safe production and distribution of food, leadership towards the production of safe food, engagement of all employees in food safety practices, the awareness of food safety hazards and the importance of food safety and hygiene by all employees in the business. Of course, communication, to have an open and clear communication between all employees in the business within an activity and between consecutive activities, including, of course, the communication of deviations as well as expectations. The last but not the least is the availability of sufficient resources to ensure safe and hygienic handling of food. Okay, interestingly, both Codex and European Union also defined management commitment as one is ensuring roles and responsibilities as well as authorities, wherein you state who is responsible in monitoring, who is responsible, and who has the authority to stop the line or decide when there is a deviation. Okay, the second one is, of course, maintaining the integrity of the food safety management system, especially when you have a planned changes. Of course, that you need to have to maintain your FSMS, especially when there are changes. Okay. Next, of course, you need to verify that the controls are being performed timely and efficiently, and that documentation is up to date. Next is, of course, sufficient training and supervision in place for personnel, because that's very important, because the line managers and the supervisors are the one operating in the line and deciding whatever is happening there. Okay. Fifth is ensuring compliance to relevant regulatory requirements. And of course, ensuring continual improvement of the food safety management system, taking account any development in science, technology, and best practices. Okay, so now let's see what the food safety standards Australia and New Zealand says about having a strong food safety culture. First is strong leadership. They are also saying about committed managers where everyone contributes and everyone is accountable. Of course, people are knowing and acting, and of course, continual improvement. Okay, so now that we have discussed the different elements, now the next question is, how do we measure food safety culture? So we will also discuss this. So first, we will discuss about the UK food safety standards. In fact, in 2012, very much earlier, they have published the food safety culture diagnostic kit for inspectors. So what are they looking at in this? They are looking at the attitude of the present management. So meaning they are focusing on the managers, on the top management towards hygiene and food safety. So this is used to assess organization on food safety management system, including the management culture, the application of good practices or the PRPs, the standards of hygiene being adopted by the organization, and of course, the approach taken in identifying and controlling any food safety hazard. This food safety culture is viewed as how and what the employees in a company or organization thinks about food safety, and the food safety behaviors that they are routinely practiced and demonstrate. In fact, they have published a food safety culture matrix wherein each organization are categorized as a calculative non-compliers, wherein they have a very poor track record of compliance, to a leader with a very good record of compliance. For each of the category, the organization is being rated with a score of 30 for a calculative non-compliers and to a score of 0 for those leaders. As you can see on the left side of the presentation are the elements or characteristics of the business, stating like, for example, business priorities and attitudes towards food hygiene. Okay? In this guidance, the inspector are also given a list of advice for inspectors to enable improvement in the food business organization in each element, depending on the food business organization's category. So, as you can see from this slide, really the focus and the behavior of the managers, because really you are the ones operating in the line. Interestingly, the GFSI has also the same categorization from calculative non-compliers to leaders. So, but they have a different definition. As you can see, for calculative non-compliers, they have defined it as the managers being encouraging non-compliance when there is a risk of enforcement, and of course they do not secure resources. So meaning they just want to comply to get the permit, but at the back of their mind, they don't want to follow the rules, right? So for doubting compliers, they defined is wherein the managers themselves do not follow the rules. Ouch. Di ba ang hirap nun? Tayo mismo mga managers ang hindi sumusunod sa rules. So nawawalan tayo ng, what do you call this? Nawawalan tayo ngayon ng, ano ba to? Kumbaga, people won't follow us because we ourselves do not follow the rules. Okay? So for dependent compliers, they are really following the rules. However, they have an consistent leadership. Okay, they lack initiative, and the presence of leaders and managers in the food working areas are done only during official controls or when there is an audit. For proactive compliers, they somehow are good enough. They follow rules and provide good example to employees, as well as they provide feedback to employees regarding compliance with legislative requirements or statutory requirements. So for those leaders, they are defined as having an active support to employees and giving frequent encouragement to apply food hygiene procedures, and as well as recognition of good practices implemented by their employees. Okay? So how about the European Union? The European Union provided us in 2022 the guidance on auditing food safety culture. Okay? So they have actually provided us a survey questionnaire on the 5 elements of the food safety culture. Okay, as you can see, the elements, like example, the leadership, communication, they have a list of questionnaires, okay? And each employee is given this survey wherein they would rate their management from totally agree, disagree, neutral, agree to totally agree to measure the food safety culture in their organization. So what's the benefits of having this survey? So by comparing the results, the weaknesses can be identified in certain principles of the food safety culture. Okay? So after this, the European Union also published a checklist to be used by regulators. In fact, we can also use this as a self-check. Okay? So as you can see, there is a checklist on food safety culture perception wherein you would just tick a yes and a no. Okay, so for example, one of the question would be, has the engagement and involvement concerning hygiene and food safety been extended to the whole organization? Wherein you could see the commitment of the management and commitment of the employees. Okay, so for food safety standards, Australia and New Zealand, they actually published an article where our activities to promote food safety culture, which is composed of three things. First is a questionnaire to assess the culture level of the organization, and it is composed of 8 questions. As you can see, it's almost the same with the surveys of European Union. Okay. However, they have just a different matrix on answering the questions. For example, for leadership and vision, how important do you think food safety is in the business compared to profit or even brand? Okay. So it is from what it is not thought about much to a ensuring that food is safe is always a top priority. So this would give us a very good perception of our employees in assessing the food safety culture in our organization. Okay, and the other one is they have also published a, what do you call, a checklist, wherein this is a a guideline or a checklist on how you could improve or implement the food safety culture in your organization. However, please stay there because the next speaker will be discussing all about this on how to implement a very good positive food safety culture in your organization. So stay tuned for the next speaker. Okay. The third one is they also publish a food safety culture maturity matrix, wherein it has 8 elements as well, but they have defined it differently. As you can see, from unintended or deliberate non-compliance to a food safety champions. Okay. They also recommend that you use this for self-assessment of strength and weaknesses. And of course, you check your progress over time. Okay, so very, very good material um, from the food standards of Australia and New Zealand. So the next one would be for the USDA. Amazingly, there is no criteria, there is no food safety criteria, nor specific food safety culture requirement coming from the new era of smarter food safety published by the USDA. So it just says that a strong food safety culture is a prerequisite to effective food safety management system. However, they have instead commissioned a study entitled Food Safety Culture Systematic Literature Review to really find out what are the general agreements or what does the literature says about food safety culture. And they have determined that the following are the determinants of a strong and effective food safety culture, such as you can see, again, leadership, communication, commitment to food safety. The new ones are risk awareness, environment, accountability, and of course, employee knowledge, attitude, behaviors, and values. So what does this literature survey also says? It also says or describes the importance of each in creating and maintaining a strong food safety culture. However, it also says that there is a limited number of tools designed specifically to help create and promote an effective food safety culture. Okay, there is also a gap in the literature about what a strong and effective food safety culture would look like among general consumers and about how food safety culture is defined in a regulatory agency. So what else? This study also identified the best practices in promoting the food safety culture. So first is promoting culture as a necessary and critical business matter for all employees. The second one is framing culture with an ownership mentality. I think very, very important because people need to own what they do. And third, branding the organization's commitment to food safety culture. So most companies are actually doing this, and I believe this is very, very helpful. Okay. And the last one would be promoting culture throughout the organization's supply chain, not only inside the manufacturing, but also during raw material sourcing up to the delivery and of the products to the consumers. So it also says that improving food safety culture or within the organization does really have a measurable positive effect in our organization. Okay? So the study also says about the challenges and barriers to a strong and effective food safety culture. Kailangan natin itong tingnan. Tama ba? So first is over-reliance on FSMS. Marami kasi parang masyadong nagde-depend na sa ating hasip naman kami or meron kaming ISO 22,000 or we are FSSC or even a BRC certified. But mostly, papel lang yan kung hindi mo siya ini-implement. Okay? Second is, madalas, ganito talaga, prioritization of cost saving and money earning. Okay? And in fact, this is the main rival of a positive food safety culture. Tipid ng tipid, di ba? So in the end, nagsasuffer din yung company. Okay. The next one is the organization size. Okay? There is really actually an impact in the organization size wherein pag mas maliit yung organization, mas mahirap mag-build ng maayos na food safety culture because since madalas masikip, tama, and madalas wala ding resources kasi nga maliit pa lang yung kumpanya. And we can see this mostly sa ating mga MSMEs, 'di ba? Ang hirap-hirap talagang mag-build ng food safety culture. The next is madalas na problema din natin, 'di ba? Frequent staff turnover. As you can see, di ba, parang awareness, commitment of those personnel are very important in building a food safety culture. And this frequent staff turnover would really negatively affect our food safety culture kasi nga hindi mo ma-build. Okay? And of course, optimistic bias because you have an illusion of invulnerability. Malaki kami, ganito kami, branded, kilala na kami sa industry. So, what happened to them will not happen to us. Because nga, sabi natin, over-reliance to FSMS, may FSMS kami, pero hindi naman pala fully implemented. So this would be a very strong barrier to an effective food safety culture. Okay? So what else does the literature service says? Okay. Another one is, yun nga, no, merong gap, okay, on how government agencies can promote a strong food safety culture. So, paano nga ba, no? Ano bang gagawin ng mga regulatory agencies to further promote a strong food safety culture in an organization? So, kahit nga sila, di ba, hirap na hirap. So, paano pa kaya tayo ng mga nasa industry? Okay? Also, there is also a gap wherein the employees' diverse political, familial, racial, and other cultural identities are not taken into consideration. That might also influence an organization's food safety culture. Like example, here in the Philippines, di ba, usually what we do is, madalas na mindset, sorry for that term, no, is okay na yan, pwede na yan. Tama? as compared to, however, example in Japan where they really value quality, etc. So medyo mas mahirap siya, 'di ba? So sa mga foods in short, sa mga food safety culture na nandiyan na available, itong mga gantong variances ang hindi pa natin na consider. Okay? Also, there is a need to assess the validity of this food safety culture assessment tools, because as I have seen, no, especially example for the UK food safety standards, which was published way back in 2012, it's um it has been tested or said that it's not really applicable to different organizations and in different countries. So medyo mas mahirap siyang i-apply. Okay? Next is there needs to be more study on the connection between the food safety culture and the outcomes, such as the microbial environment, the risk of foodborne illnesses and outbreaks, the reduction in contamination of incidences, and other economic effects. So marami pa talaga tayong kailangang aralin about food safety culture. So in summary, yun nga, no, there is still no consensus or standard on the elements or different dimensions to assess a food safety culture. So this is still a developing topic for all of us. And kung nagtataka ka, kung may food safety culture ba kayo o hindi, then I must say that you already have a food safety culture, whether you've intentionally created one or not. Okay? So in the end, there is actually one question. The question is not whether to implement a food safety culture, but how to establish a positive one. Okay? And the practical approaches on building a food safety culture will be discussed by the next speaker. If you want to learn more, please refer to the list of references on the slide. You may screenshot the list for further readings. And so thank you and stay tuned for the next speaker who will be discussing the practical approaches on food safety culture. I am excited as well to learn from you, from a seasoned food technologist, Miss Evangeline Tayag.
Thank you, Ms. Berna, for your kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Previous presentation were presented in full by my colleagues, Ms. Jessa, Food Safety Culture, an overview, and Ms. Berna for Food Safety Culture, different perspective. And I will present to you our last topic for the day, Food Safety Culture, a practical approach. For my topic, Food Safety Culture, a practical approach, it will help us to build our food safety culture in the best simple and practical way, considering the available references which were differentiated to us by Ms. Berna regarding the different perspective of the regulating bodies. Most of the discussions and examples are based on my personal experience. There are 6 key areas for positive food safety culture that includes the following. Number 1, management commitment. Number 2, roles and responsibilities. Number 3, communication and training. Number 4, resources. Number 5, monitoring and evaluation. And last but not the least is number 6, continual improvement. For management commitment, lead by example. It is to guide others through your behavior instead of your words. Your intention is to inspire others to copy your behavior. The opposite of leading by example is to say one thing and do another. Kasi saliwana. As a food safety practitioner in our organization, everyone is aware that I do follow all the protocols, guidelines, o kung ano man ang tawag dyan. Everyone is agitated whenever I go down to the shop floor, as they know that I will do an inspection while I am walking in the hallway. Lahat nakikita. Sabi nga nila, nandyan si Tayag. Parang nasa taas pa lang ako, alam na nila kung kailan ako bababa. Everyone seems busy and preoccupied while doing their tasks, as they do not want me to call their attention to inform them of any deviation that I will notice. They will see me wearing my prescribed uniform and washing my hands upon entry at the processing area. It creates a very good visible example of how committed the management is regarding the food safety culture. You will have a hard time encouraging others to follow protocols if you yourself are not following it. Kumbaga sana, follow the leaders. So yung leader, pag hindi ginagawa ng maayos, walang susunod sa'yo. Or kung ano man yung ginagawa mo, yun ang susundin nila. Importante na nakikita sa'yo kung ano yung dapat mong patutay. Exceed expectation. I am very results-oriented person, so I do expect that those who are around me are results-oriented too. I am very fortunate to have developed individuals who were trained to provide results, output on time, who proactively provided feedback to improve the system. And one of them is my former staff, Mr. Ryan Cabanatan, who is with me today. I am very proud of you, Ryan, considering that you are one of those who encouraged me to enroll in a master's degree and to continue to exceed my expectations. Visibility in the shop floor. You will see me and my team on the shop floor at any given time, especially when there are concerns that need to be addressed immediately. Real-time visibility in the shop floor where all actions are happening makes you aware of the nitty-gritty of all the details of the processing parameters that help you provide a better disposition in any deviations encountered. This is my own way on how to communicate with them my commitment. So kumbaga sana, parang kasama na yung puso habang nagtatrabaho ka. Kasi kung walang puso, parang hindi siya ganun hindi nakikita pagka hindi mo talaga nararamdaman. The presence of anyone from the management on the shop floor always creates a positive impact, and it also provides a different perspective to those working in the shop floor. Lalo na yung mga naiinitan, talagang hard work, kumbaga kung tawagin. Importante na nakikita nila tayo sa shop floor. You can save a lot of resources when you can effectively address all the concerns. Attending necessary training with the personnel is another thing or a plus point. It is better that we attend training with our staff. Kasama natin sila habang nagtitraining. So we are aligned in our understanding with the culture that we are trying to build in. In addition, walk the talk, putting your words into action, showing that you mean what you say by actively doing it yourself. You cannot implement something you yourself cannot follow what you are trying to implement. For roles and responsibilities, normally a documented job description is handed down to all new employees on first day at work. The JD consists of detailed roles and responsibilities of a certain personnel depending on his position. It also states the job title, job purpose, job duties, and responsibilities, required qualifications, preferred qualifications, and working conditions. It is defined for each one at any level in the organization. Other than JD, you can use an official document or a memorandum to communicate the assigned roles and responsibilities. Importante, documented. Especially in the shop floor, you need to assign within the team even who will collect the garbage. Simpleng basura. It should be defined and, if necessary, assign one for each area to ensure that all tasks are properly delegated. The immediate superior or RHR representative will require the employee to sign the JD or any official document or memorandum to signify his acknowledgement of the roles and responsibilities. Paralegal. We are also need to acknowledge the accomplishment of everyone who performs his assigned task properly, especially those who do not have any disciplinary action for a period of 1 year. An additional point in his performance evaluation, if he does not incur any late or absences within the year, it may differ for each organization depending on program in providing incentives. Depende yan sa demographic ng organization, sa laki ng organization, or yung commitment itself ng organization. It will provide everyone with satisfaction and eventually will create a positive impact as a member of the team, unit, section, department, or even within the organization. It is important to remind everyone to perform each assigned task so they will realize that we are committed to the food safety culture that we are trying to build in. Any means of reminder will do. It can be done using a text brigade, via a memorandum, during meeting discussion, posting in the bulletin board, or just simply patting his back and saying, don't forget to assign tasks in the project. So dapat nare-remind mo kahit sino within the organization. With that, everyone feels and realizes that his assigned roles and responsibilities are very important in the team. For communication and training, we normally provide a training needs assessment or analysis, the so-called TNA, every first month of the year. So our HR can review and allocate necessary resources. It includes mandatory training for food safety, food quality, and food manufacturing related topics. We also have every 2 years out of town team building activities for 3 days. All employees are required to join. All personnel will be divided into several teams, equally divided per team composed of personnel from different levels of the organization. The team building removes the wall between employees. It creates a good relationship, and it is the culture that we are trying to build within the organization. So kung sa ano parang kahit manager ka, kahit the owner ka, kahit sino pwedeng lumatak sa'yo. For food safety performance expectations, with the provided training, everyone expected to perform based on the learnings in the training. You need to plan on how you will communicate any concern. Communication can either be from top to bottom or from bottom to top. Everyone needs to know what is going on around the organization and the status of any related food safety culture initiatives. This is to make all members of the organization aware of any developments so they will know that it is a moving culture building. Sana tuloy-tuloy lang to, walang tigil. And dapat kahit sino within the organization, alam niya kung ano ang nangyayari. With the help of our HR, we perform the assessment of the effectiveness of the training provided. We do provide a post-test to all the participants after the training. We also review the output of the implementation to reassess there are changes that need to be considered. It also helps us to identify the needed training modules for everyone within the organization, depending on each role. There should be a regular assessment in relation to the training provided to check the effectiveness of the implementation. Assessment will be done per module and per individual to address whatever possible concerns will be addressed. In addition, walk the talk, putting your words into action, showing that you mean what you say by actively doing it yourself. So dapat may consistency, hindi pwedeng ngayong araw na to, ganito ang galaw mo, then the next day iba na naman. So dapat may consistency para hindi nagkakaroon ng problema. For the resources, for sufficient resources, as we all know, manpower is considered the greatest resource of the organization, and tayo lahat yon. We greatly contribute to the cost and efficiency of work while also ensuring that we meet deadlines and targets set by the top management or our bosses. In addition, it is also necessary for the food manufacturing company to invest in temperature control and monitoring equipment, protective floating, chemical supplies, equipment, machines, and other tools to ensure that food safety is considered within the manufacturing processes. While for sufficient knowledge, training of the key personnel in the organization is very important. We need to identify the key personnel within the organization. So dapat kinikilala natin ang bawat isa and alam natin kung ano yung kakayanan ng bawat isa. So you can provide them with all the necessary training to ensure understanding for an effective implementation. We also need to identify the training modules and applicable to the organization. better if the module can be designed in reference to the structure and demographic of the organization. Kasi yung training, importante akma or tama o sadyang ginawa para dun sa organization. Bringing in a food safety consultant is not mandatory, especially if we have available talents to know the organization better. Lalo na yung matatagal na sa organization, more or less, alam na nila yung kultura, alam na nila kung paano gumagalaw yung organization. But if we need the services of the consultant, we need to ensure that we can communicate what we need from the consultant. For monitoring and evaluation, for the measurement of the success, to measure your food safety quality and performance, you need to establish and monitor relevant indicators such as food safety audits, inspections, tests, complaints, recalls, and corrective actions. And pwede pa, marami pang pwede idagdag. We do have a regular schedule for the evaluation based on our requirement or program. We have some monitoring and evaluation frequency on a monthly, quarterly, biannual, and annual. As I said earlier, depending on the program. So, importante alam nyo yung programa nyo para na alam nyo kung kailan nyo dapat ito na-assess. We do make necessary corrections if there is any for consideration. For due diligence documentation, it should be fully completed and checked. Documentation of events provides official information, evidence, or that serves as a record. Documentation does not only make everything organized, but it also directly affects productivity and its efficiency. Keeps a track of progress, identifies area of risk, and overall, it ensures that everyone is on the same page. Ang hirap kasi pag walang documentation, wala kang babalikan. Lalo na ako, tumatanda na ako, para ang hirap na may babalikan ka, hindi mo na ma-recall. So, mag-refer ka talaga dun sa documents and records na available. Documentation becomes crucial for future developers who may need to maintain or enhance the system. It provides insights into the database, design decisions, and implementation details, making it easier to identify and address issues down the line. While for the critical control points, or popularly known as CCP, it should be met all the time. A critical control point is defined as a step at which control can be applied and essential to prevent or eliminate a food safety hazard or reduce it to an acceptable level. CCP is very important to meet on every production day, as it will provide a total picture if necessary, steps were performed. In addition, CCP is a step in food handling, production, or manufacturing where controls can be applied to prevent or reduce any food safety hazard. To say potential food safety hazards need to be identified quickly and removed or reduced to stop food from becoming unsafe or dangerous to eat, considering that CCPs were all validated and must be verified from time to time to ensure food safety concerns. It is also good to note that no reported non-compliances during internal and external audits. It is the overall positive measure considering all aspects were audited. But if there are non-conformances, this is the best time to make necessary corrections. For continuous improvement, our food safety management system should be continually improved together with our food safety culture. The two should go hand in hand for an effective implementation. Continuous improvement helps you to stay ahead of the competition by encouraging you to constantly explore new ways to improve your processes. And by making small changes, you can test out new ideas quickly and cheaply to see if they're worth pursuing. Continuous improvement should be a company-wide effort. So dapat lahat magpa-participate, dapat lahat involved to enhance operations across all business units and should be participated in all employees by the organization. Our HACCP documents are scheduled for review annually. But if there are changes to be implemented immediately, we need to do it provided all requirements are handled properly. Consider a regular review of your HACCP plan and other attached programs to check for any possible adjustment. So necessary documentation will be considered. One of the most considered frameworks for continuous improvement methods is called PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. Plan, recognize an opportunity, and plan a change. Do, test the change, carry out a small-scale study, check, review the test, analyze the results, and identify what you have learned, act based on what you have learned in the study step. So, balik lang sa plan, do, check, act. It's a cycle. So, ulit-ulit lang. As soon, provided may kailangan ka pang ayusin at itama. You can always consider this framework as part of your regular activity for any improvement effort. It should be performed in a designed interval so you can capture and will not miss any opportunity for improvement. How to monitor that employees are adhering to your safety procedures. One is active monitoring to ensure that safety standards are correct in the workplace before deviations and non-conformances are reported. And other one is reactive monitoring, using reported deviations and non-compliance as indicators of performance to highlight areas of concern. I would like to end my presentation with a quotation. The goal of the food safety professional should be to create a food safety culture, not a food safety program. From Frank E. Anas. Again, thank you and good morning.
Wow! What a discussion we've had on food safety culture. Marami bang nakarelate? Especially yung mga nasa food industry. So, together, our panelists have provided us a comprehensive and insightful view on food safety culture from the various angles, making this session both informative and enlightening. We shall now proceed to the question and answer portion of our webinar. For the Zoom participant, just type your question in the chat box. For the YouTube and Facebook Live viewers, please type your question in the comment section. While waiting for the question of our participants, let me check the numbers of our viewers. As of the count, we have 98 YouTube viewers and 90 Facebook viewers. We hope you continuously support us until the end of the webinar. So, for the question and answer portion, I will be starting for the question from our YouTube viewers. So, for Ms. Tessa Dolom, the first question is there a law related to food safety culture? And a follow-up question, what are the challenges of food safety culture in the Philippines? Ms. Dolom?
Thank you so much, Sir Edward, for that. So, regarding the as of now, there's no specific law regarding the safety control. But recently, the AO15 is under revision. So, maybe they can incorporate in the future. Then, in terms of the challenges in the food safety, the commitment of the management in terms of in the implementation, because mostly, like for example, companies just send their employees for training, just compliance with the requirement for training certificate. Those people they really want their employees to learn and understand food safety culture. It's the first it's still not they're really that mag-comply with the mag-comply with the requirement. Pero hindi dahil gusto nila matuto yung tao. Then that's all for I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thank you, Miss Dalom. So we have also the next question for Miss Berna. So how do you handle and resolve any food safety violation or customer complaints related to food safety concerns? Miss Berna?
Yes, thank you for the question, Edward. Usually, kapag food safety violation siya, di ba, in our organization, there is actually a requirement that you have a procedure on handling non-conforming product and potentially unsafe product, wherein for any CCP parameters that is violated, kasi 'di ba, para mo masabi na siya ay food safety violation, it must violate specifically CCPs, right? So kapag may CCP violations ka, automatically the product is held, okay, segregated, and re-evaluated, no? Kasi nga potentially unsafe siya. So usually that's the practice I am saying to most of the organizations na tinulungan ko. And also during customer complaint, kapag food safety related ang customer complaint, usually meron tayong hierarchy method dito. Kung siya ay assessed to be a food safety issue, no? Automatically it is elevated to the top management. Hindi pwedeng si QA or anyone who handles the complaint management, sa kanya lang yon, no? Hindi pwede because it should be escalated right away for a potential food safety issue or food safety complaint. Hindi dapat natin to pinababayaan lang dun sa position na nag-handle ng customer complaint because kaya dapat sa ating organization meron tayong escalation level. Kung na-assess mo na initial assessment of the complaint or the violation is a food safety violation, then automatically may escalation level ka agad dito. Hindi pwedeng sa inyo lang to because the top management needs to be informed para makapagawa din sila ng mga countermeasures para informed na sila kaagad. Hindi sila magugulat. So usually yan yung practice namin in the past. And yan din yung pinapa-practice ko among mga organizations that I have been with. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Miss Berna, for your informative and technical as a consultant answer for the question from our viewers. So next question is for Miss Banji. So the question is, I've been working in the field of quality and assurance for years. Now, my struggles were consistent monitoring and effective implementation of food safety policies. Can you please give me techniques on how I'm able to overcome this?
Hi, good
Ms.
morning. In relation to your question, mahirap magpatupad ng policies and all. Kahit simpleng policies na mahirap magpatupad. But kailangan mo iparamdam sa kanila yung commitment mo together with your group. Importante kasi hawak mo yung group mo or naiintindihan ng group mo kung ano yung gusto nyong gawin. Kasi if wala or nag-iisa ka lang, mahirap. So kailangan mong tunin muna yung loob ng kasama mo or ng team mo para ma-communicate nyo. Kung ano parang sort of, habang dumadami kayo ng dumadami. Kasi mahirap magpatupad ng kahit na anong policy. Kahit gaano kasimple, medyas lang or anything is napakahirap talaga. But isang bagay din kasi, pwede kang gumamit ng positive approach or negative approach. Positive one is may incentive. Or the other one is meron kang demerit. Pwede kong mag-provide ng mga tickets. Kung tawagin namin ito is GMP tickets o kahit na anong klaseng ticket, nagpo-provide kami dun sa mga employees. Then along the way, lalo ng mga regulars, no? Kasi ang regulars, kung bibigyan mo sila ng disciplinary action, yun nga, nabanggit ko rin earlier, na pagka meron kang disciplinary action, nababawasan yung iyong performance, nakakabawas sa iyong performance evaluation, or kung pag naman maganda yung performance mo, mayroon kang mga incentives at the end of the year. So, depende. Ano kasi, importante na kilalanin mo muna yung team mo, kilalanin mo muna yung organization para mas madali para sa'yo na magpa-implement. Kasi kung hindi mo kilala yung organization, kung hindi committed yung organization itself o yung the top management, mas mahirap para sa'yo. Pero, importante, back up ka ng top management. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Banji, for your answer. So hopefully our QA have the same thought. So next question for Ms. Jessa. So the next question is, what will happen in the food industry if food safety culture is not incorporated in their company? Ms. Jessa?
Incidents like the one that occurred in South Wales, the E. coli outbreak, Salmonella outbreak will happen. That's despite of having the inputs, because they did not implement food safety culture properly. It takes yung risk for the people. They end up, someone died because of contaminated food. So that's what we want to prevent. Because little bit didn't that eating contaminated food would cause food endurance. Na dapat nga yun yung mag-provide sa atin to continue. Yun yung life source natin eh. Tapos biglang yun pa yung magkakos ng death natin. So, that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Jessa, for your answer. So, we have also next question from Ms. Nelly Ann Doblan. So, this will be falls under Ms. Berna. So, does it necessary that every department of the organization be a member of what they call food safety team or quality food safety? How often that the food safety culture be evaluated in an organization? Ms. Berna?
First, for the first question about the food safety team, usually we would only incorporate or put there a few people to really run or supervise the whole food safety program. Kasi medyo mahirap din talaga kapag masyadong marami. Kasi usually our food safety team is also our HACCP team, right? So this would be, as we said, no, lagi siyang multidisciplinary. So konti lang talaga to. Ideally, for me, it's just a composed of 5 to 8 people who would run the program on all food safety process. Okay? On the next question, can you repeat the second question, Edward, please?
Miss Berna, so the next question is, how often that the food safety culture be evaluated in an organization? So I think the frequency.
Sorry, nakalimutan ko bigla. Okay, so sa start, I think kung mag-measure ka ng food safety for sa start muna lagi, 'di ba? You need to have a baseline data on what your food safety culture is. And then, I guess you need to evaluate in the next 3 months or 6 months after you have evaluated the results or the weaknesses of your food safety culture. Kasi by that time, dapat nakapag-implement ka na ng mga changes. So you need to slowly check kung nag-effect ba yung ginagawa mong mga measures to improve the food safety culture in your company. So it will take time. So at least 3 to 6 months para at least makita mo. And then siguro kung medyo established na yung food safety culture sa inyo or somehow confident ka na. I mean, alam mo na yung gusto mong target na food safety culture dun sa organization nyo has been achieved, then you could also check na lang every annually siguro, no? Kumbaga parang tingnan mo na lang to, yung progress nyo over time and what else can you improve on. Pero sa start that you are implementing or you're really focusing on building a positive food safety culture in your organization, just like kung nag-establish ka pa lang ng iyong mga FSMS, it helps to check on a quarterly or semi-annual basis. Lahat naman tayo, example, we're starting to build our food management system, any management system. It's best to really check on a quarterly basis, and then you decrease the frequency over time. So that's what yun lang yung aking opinion on this. Okay? Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Miss Berna, for answering the question of Miss Neri. So we have also next question from Ken Rod Medina. So the question is, if the food business or organization has food safety violation, do we need to cancel their sanitation permits? Miss Banji or Miss Berna?
Yes, good morning. Actually, yung food sanitation permit is coming from the local government. So, kung normally, kasi ngayon yung Food Safety Act natin is hindi siya fully implemented, no? Kung siguro fully implemented yung Food Safety Act natin, pwede nating sabihin na pwede i-cancel ng local government. Kasi ang local government din ang supposedly implementor ng ating Food Safety Act. No? Normally, kung meron tayong validation in relation to food safety, it's our responsibility to report sa FDA, not necessarily sa local government. Or inform yung ating mga clients kung meron tayong problema dun sa ating na-produce or na-deliver na produkto. But not necessarily na yung food sanitation permit natin is kailangan i-cancel. Kasi food sanitation permit it covers a lot of things within the local government. So, importante na naiintindihan mo lahat ng angle or aware ka din sa mga requirements ng local government. Kaya tinatawag na statutory, which is the local government, and the regulatory body, which is composed of FDA at yung iba pang regulating body in relation to your export or yung local market. Thank you and good morning.
Okay, thank you, Miss Banji. So, we will have an additional answer for the question. So, Miss Berna?
I agree actually with Miss Vanji. Okay? So, hindi just to clarify, no, the food safety violation. Of course, wala namang perfect na planta, wala ring perfect na makina, walang perfect na tao that could implement any food safety system consistently and throughout, no? There are of course always violations or deviations. Hindi okay lang siya. Kaya nga sa sinasabi sa FSMS ang importante is you could detect it. Meron kang system to detect those deviations as well as correct and prevent the further incident of that food safety deviation. Okay? It doesn't necessarily mean na kailangan tanggalin na sila ng LTO or sanitary permit. okay lang na may mga food safety deviations ka. Walang problema doon. Ang importante, na-detect mo siya, nase-segregate mo siya, at na-i-ensure mo na hindi siya napupunta sa market. Kung napunta siya sa market, that's another thing. Maybe, pwede talagang maging, kung consistent yung violation na to at nakakarating to sa public, then may problema talaga yung system nila. Meaning, gross negligence na to. Then it would be a cause for an pagtanggal ng sanitation permit. But otherwise, kung meron namang system, no, kaya nga tayo naglalagay ng system. Yung sinasabi ko nga sa iyo na handling of non-conforming product and potentially unsafe. So kung kunyari, yung makina mo biglang tumigil or example nawalan bigla ng kuryente, so anong gagawin? So that's why meron tayong mga systems in place. Hindi lang systems in place but also monitoring systems and verification. Kung in place naman lahat ng to and you can detect any deviation sa planta and you can isolate those non-conforming product that could potentially be unsafe, then the organization is doing well actually. Problema nila yon dahil magkakaroon lang sila ng mga rejections, di ba? Pero it doesn't mean na nagpo-cause sila ng harm sa public because nagagawa naman nila yung due diligence nila eh. I mean, nakaka-capture naman nila itong mga food safety deviations na to. Yun ang importante dito, ma-capture mo siya at ma-prevent mo siya na mapunta sa public. So I hope I have answered your question as well.
Thank you, Miss Berna, for the answer. So I would like to add din dun sa question ng ating viewers from the Facebook. So marami talaga dun sa mga sanitary permits natin na local din naman talaga yung nag-check sa atin. Nagkakaroon sila ng mga surveillance every year. So may validation talaga. Depende siguro yan dun sa magiging gaano ba yung naging epekto dun sa isang produkto or sa planta or sa community. Kasi example na nga yung nangyari dun sa Pasig for the wastewater. So pinasara yun ni Mayor Soto. So ganun yung mga example. So we will proceed to the next question from our Facebook viewers from Miss Gracie Marina Sabagkit. So the question is, in the context of MSMEs, what should be taken into consideration first, compliance to the food safety regulation, or focus first on developing and building a strong food safety culture? I think this will be a collaborative answer from our seniors consultants from Miss Berna or Miss Evangeline. Can we hear your answer, ma'ams?
Okay. Do you want to answer first, Miss Vanji, or una na ako?
Go ahead.
Okay. Biglang nawala yung ko, no? Pakiulit nga ulit ang question, Edward. Sorry.
Miss Bernaling, the question is, in the context of MSMEs, what should be taken into consideration first, compliance to food safety regulation, or focus first on developing and building a strong food safety culture?
Sa akin kasi yung food safety culture, nabibuild na to as you build your food safety compliance, as you build your policies and procedures. So, ang masasagot ko siguro ito in terms of MSMEs. Usually, kung MSMEs kayo, usually the owner, tapos eto puro staff na, 'di ba? And then kayo na lahat yung nagma-manage. So what can I suggest sa mga MSMEs? Yung mga owners talaga mismo. So sila dapat talaga yung magpakita ng compliance to regulatory. Madalas kasing nakikita ko no sa mga MSMEs, dahil sila yung may-ari, they can just go inside the plant without even wearing the proper uniform, head cap, etc. And usually treated yung mga VIPs. Pag may mga VIPs, bisita, usually hindi sila parang bina-violate lahat ng rules. Hindi dapat ganon, no? So while developing your food safety compliance, okay, nabibuild mo na rin yung iyong food safety culture in the end while implementing it. So anong masasabi ko as an owner of an MSMEs, ikaw ngayon yung dapat consistent in application. Kailangan mismong makita sa inyo ng mga tao nyo na you're really hindi lang talaga profit. Yung kailangan makita nila na kahit magtapon ka ng maraming produkto, it's okay because you really value food safety. Then in the end, while implementing all of this, mahahawa din talaga sila. And then you could really build a strong food safety culture. So kayo talaga yung magmamando nito. So first, syempre, sa akin regulatory compliance is a must, no? Hindi yan pinag-iisipan. And while complying, you develop as well your food safety culture. So, Ma'am Vaji, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, in addition, Verna, nabanggit SMEs, kasi sa akin sanay ako SMEs, no? Small, medium enterprises. Actually, better to start pagsabayan yung development ng food safety and food safety culture. Kasi habang nag-uumpisa ka kasi yun yung mas maganda kasi konti pa lang kayo, kailangan mo establish yung discipline habang konti kayo. Kasi mahirap establish ang discipline kasi food safety culture is more on behavior, sabi nga ni Jessa earlier, no? So it's development ng behavior. So habang maliit pa lang, habang konti pa lang, mas madaling mag-establish ng food safety culture. At the same time, yung ating food safety management system. Mas magandang hand-on-hand. Para if ever, nabanggit ko rin kanina, na yung continual improvement, kasi habang lumalaki tayo, dapat sabay yun na na-improve. No? Importante rin, napaka-importante is yung commitment. From the top management down to dun sa mga workers natin sa shop floor. Importante na lahat is committed, lahat is merong alignment in understanding ano ba yung target, ano ba yung kung saan tayo mag-uumpisa, ano yung gusto natin sa dulo. Actually, my organization started, I started with our organization 1986. So parang napakaliit lang talaga na kumpanya. As in, parang kung titingnan mo, maliit lang siya. Pero in a way, parang towards hanggang ngayon, parang makikita mo na talagang ang laki ng improvement, ang laki ng developments na nangyari. So parang yun, dun mo makikita na pag committed ka, kahit gaano pa kalalaki yung kalaban mo, kahit multinational pa yan, kaya mong labanan, provided committed ang bawat isa. Okay? Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ma'am Banji and Ma'am Berna for your informative, so wonderful answer. Very relatable sa mga viewers talaga natin, lalong-lalo na nga yung mga nasa food industry. So, we have a follow-up question from the YouTube from Miss Rizalyn Rivera. Miss Berna, which department do we believe should make the food safety team?
Okay. The food safety team usually is composed of a multidisciplinary team. So, meaning, all departments should be well represented from the QA, production, engineering, warehouse, logistics, even if medyo technical yung ating purchasing, masyadong maliit yung organization natin, we can also include the purchasing or even the sales department. So, kailangan talaga multidisciplinary to because kanya-kanya tayo ng expertise. Meaning the expertise especially sa mga makina, no, could be a source also of a food safety issue or hazard. So, ang may expertise dyan, yung mga engineers natin, yung mga nasa maintenance natin, di ba? So, kanya-kanya talaga ng tinitingnang aspeto on implementing the food safety management system. Kaya, dapat ito ay maraming lahat, hindi lang puro QA, hindi lang production. Kasi ang usually issue kapag puro QA, feeling nila ang may ang meron lang role or responsibility in implementing the food safety management system or any management system is si QA lang, 'di ba? Nawawala ng ownership, samantalang we are all responsible to produce safe food, lahat ng employee, down to the actually security guard, the janitors, no, even the rest of the office personnel, meron din silang role, 'di ba? In para mag-produce ng safe food. So kaya dapat ito ay multidisciplinary across all department as much as possible. Lalong-lalo na yung mga involved sa operations. Depende sa inyong gaano kalaki or paano yung inyong organizational makeup. Okay? So I hope I have answered your question, Rizalyn.
Thank you, Miss Perna. So, we have also next question from our Facebook from Miss Diana Rodilia. So, are there ways on how can a third party or customer auditor detect upfront whether or that food safety culture is actively and consistently promoted in a facility applying for a certain food safety standard certification? I think, Miss Berna, this is also for you.
Okay, sige. Okay lang. Okay. Kung seasoned auditor ka, seasoned third-party auditor ka na, or third-party auditor ka, you can feel it din sa organization. Kasi during the audit, usually nakikita mo that people are really aware of what they do. Nakikita mo yun nafe-feel mo yung ownership nila. Nakikita mo din yung awareness nila on what they do. Kung ganon, makikita mo na mataas, maganda, at may positive food safety culture dito yung mga tao. Nakikita mo din na pag nag-interview ka, even kunyari, yung mga lower ranks. I mean, ako kasi favorite kong magtanong dun sa mga tipong hindi managers and supervisors. Of course, kaya nilang sumagot dyan. Well-trained sila dyan and alam na alam nila yon. But if you interview down the ranks and they are somehow, actually nafe-feel mo yon na they are proud in what they do, they take pride in what they do, they really know what they're doing. Pag tinanong mo, paano pag ganito yung nangyari, they can answer it freely, then makikita mo na na mafe-feel mo na maganda yung food safety culture dito, as well as consistency din ng mga documents, lalo na ng mga records. Makikita mo din to, yung consistency ng records mo. So I bet those auditing ng mga marami nang na-audit ng mga organizations, nafe-feel nila to, kaya mo tong ma-feel as a na parang yung mga tao dito yung mga tao dito parang happy naman sila, they really know what they do din. Nakikita mo na okay yung tsaka yung mga pag naman yung mga managers or yung mga supervisors, ang daming palusot. Kita mo din na somehow makikita mo na yung attitude nila hindi rin naman talaga consistently nag-i-implement ng food safety management system nila. Then therefore, medyo mababa ang in the end kung yung hindi nga sila lagi nagko-comply, makikita mo din to Then the food safety culture is also low. So yun. So ako yun yung aking take on this.
Okay. Okay po. Thank you for our speakers. While waiting for Sir Edward, I think we have answered all the questions already. Okay, Sir Edward.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
are there any more questions, Sir Edward? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you, dear speakers, for gracing us with the answers to the questions raised by our audiences. So before we end this day, I believe our team prepared an activity for you to win cash prizes. So Miss Nelly, the floor is yours.
So, we are down to our last Kahoot for this meaningful and insightful seminar series. I know you have your favorite portions too and learned so much from our valuable speakers. For this last activity, you guys already know what to do. Just click on the link provided in the chat box or scan the QR code flashed in the screen, type your nickname, and we are ready to go. 3 winners will receive a special prizes. Just message Sir Ryan V. Cabanatan in Facebook Messenger to claim the prize. Again, only 100 participants can enter our Kahoot, so scan the code and join us now. So while waiting for you to join, I would like to share my favorite portion of this session 4 when Ms. Banji mentioned that the strong food safety culture lies not only in the documentation and resources of the company, but most importantly, to the employee, that everyone in the organization is important and vital in achieving the culture we want to create. So, pasok lang guys, and we will start in a few seconds. So, we have 41 now in our pool. And we're going 50. Alright, I think we are ready to go, Sir Ryan. So, for our first question, true or false? PDCA is a method of 4-step framework used in continuous improvement. True or false? PDCA is a method of 4-step framework used in continuous improvement. Okay, the answer is true. It is a method for 4-step framework for improvement. So for our score leaderboard, we have Sinichi. So for next question, it's a quiz type. The following are the goal of food safety culture except so red to educate, blue to raise awareness, orange is to judge, and green is to inform. So the following are the goal of food safety culture except to educate, to raise awareness, to judge, or to inform. Alright, we have 71 correct answers. So the answer is to judge. It is not included. Wow, we have a new top leaderboard. We have Miguel. For our third question, as defined by the Global Food Safety Initiatives, it is a shared values, beliefs, and norms that affect mindset in the organization. Red, food quality and safety. Blue is the food safety culture. Orange is the food safety and hygiene. And green, the quality assurance and control. So as defined by Global Food Safety Initiatives, it is a shared values, beliefs, and norms that affect the mindset in the organization. So the answer is, we have 60 correct answer for food safety culture. Wow, pagalaw-galaw ang ating score leaderboard. Now we have 1 BTY as our rank 1. Next question. So the 5 critical components of food safety are vision and mission, people, consistency, hazards and risk awareness, and blank. So red, adaptability, blue, agreement, orange is adoption, and green is adjustment. So the 5 critical components of food safety are vision and mission, people, consistency, hazards and risk awareness, and blank. So our correct answer is adaptability. Wow, for our top leaderboard right now, it's Jacob followed by Marie. Mainit-ilit ang laban. Leadership, commitment, and communication are the most common element of a food safety culture. True or false? Leadership, commitment, and communication are the most common element of a food safety culture. Okay, the correct answer is true. May magbabago ba? Ayun, Jacob pa rin remains the top one followed by Marie. So next question, blank is about identifying and correcting non-conformances. Food safety program, food safety culture, or food safety presentation. Blank is about identifying and correcting non-conformances. What would be your guess, guys? Okay, so the correct answer is food safety program. Ayan, iikot na naman ang ating roleta. Okay, we have FS Cults for rank 1. Oh, for the last question, ayan. The following are the factors that affects the mindset and behaviors about food safety, except upbringing, national culture, role and position, or none of the above. So the following are the factors that affects the mindset and behaviors about food safety, except upbringing, national culture, role and position, or none of the above. So the correct answer is none of the above. Everything in the list are the factors affecting our mind. So let's see who is the top 3. For the third is Marie's. Second is FS Cults. And the first one is Mochi. Wow! Bago! So thank you guys for participating. And for your prizes, please don't forget to reach out to us to claim your prize. And for those who have sent their details already, please expect your prizes within the day. We hope you had a fun in this short activity. Back to you, Ma'am Ellie.
Okay, so congratulations to all the winners. For those who have posted questions that were not answered due to time constraint, we will revert back to your queries through email. Again, for our participants in this webinar, please be reminded to fill up the evaluation form that will be sent later in our chat boxes. Take note that only participants who will successfully accomplish these evaluation forms will be given an e-certificate after the end of our sessions. Reminder, the forms need to be completed by 2 p.m. Please do not forget to evaluate us for further improvement of the webinars. Your e-certificate will be forwarded once you finish the evaluation. Okay, so moving on to all of our speakers, thank you for that very informative webinar and for sharing your expertise about the topic. I am sure that our listeners gained a lot of knowledge from all of you. This is a very interesting topic, especially for those who wanted to venture out to the food industry. I hope we have student participants who are already eyeing food industry related positions as their future professions. Right now, I would like to acknowledge the webinar presenters for sharing their knowledge and expertise on this webinar through the awarding of a Certificate of Appreciation. Certificate of Appreciation will be awarded by our guest, Dr. Maria Ligayati Braganza, who is a leader and educator whose expertise and passion have made an indelible mark on the field of food science and technology. She serves as the Dean of the School of Food Science and Technology at the Philippine Women's University, and her leadership in this role has been nothing short of exceptional. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Maria Ligayati Braganza as she awards the Certificate of Appreciation to session speakers and moderators. Dean Braganza, please proceed with the awarding of the Certificate of Appreciation to our speakers. Dean. Dean.
First of all, I want to commend and congratulate our speakers. Very informative. Okay? Talagang ano kayo, you're really experts on this field, food safety. Okay. Now, can I have a copy? Okay, so the first one will have to be the Philippine Women's University School of Food Science and Technology hereby awards this certificate of appreciation to Miss Jessamay Dolom in grateful recognition of her contribution as resource speaker during the webinar series Convergence and Divergence of Food Science and Food Safety, given the 6th day of October 2023 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines. Signed by yours truly, Jessa. Congratulations. Next, we have the Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Ms. Vernaline Tiama, again in grateful recognition of her contributions as resource speaker during the webinar series on convergence and divergence of food science and food safety, given the 6th day of October 2023 at the Philippine Women's University. Signed by the program chair. By the way, I'm not the dean, I'm the program chair. Okay. Program chair, Maria Ligaya Braganza. Congrats, Bernie! And last but not the least, of course, we have this Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Ms. Evangeline Tayag in grateful recognition of her contribution as the resource speaker during the webinar series on convergence and divergence of food science and food safety this 6th day of October 2023 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines. Again, signed by yours truly. Okay, congratulations to everybody. Very informative,
Thank you, ma'am.
very successful webinar.
Okay. Thank you so much, Program Chair Braganza. On behalf
Yes.
of all the organizers, we thank you for your presence today. We appreciate you supporting us on this webinar. Thank you so much po and God bless.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Now I would also like to grab this opportunity to invite everyone for a photo session. May we request everyone to be on camera and pose for a while as we capture each panel. Sir Mark, can you please assist? and the speakers. Okay, just a reminder for our participants, kindly evaluate po. The evaluation link is already on the chat boxes. Okay, so and now, to conclude this two-day webinar, I would like to introduce a dynamic individual whose remarkable career has spanned to academe, industry, and research. As an associate professor of the School of Food Science and Technology at Philippine Women's University, she has been a driving force in shaping the education and research in her field. Her education to fostering the next generation of food scientists and her commitment have earned her the admiration of colleagues and students alike. Please welcome one of our esteemed professors, Professor Maria Divina de Alcazabas, for the closing remarks. Prof.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, our guests. Very, very persistent. What they call that? Practicing. Most of you at and a half day webinar. I know you are all eager to learn, friends. In behalf of the Philippine management, of course, coordinate what we call that chair and our co-professor who was okay. Who my colleagues undergone the no. Actually, for your information, a joint effort by the Lynn Lorilla handled the food safety and yours handled the food science. Okay? I'd like to commend my students. And I'd like to share the webinar is really a hard webinar, but with the effort, with the diligent support of these students, almost all of us are less than 20 for just, would you believe, one S. And of course, with that also, I'd like to thank them because tonight, just to finish all searches and of course, from the title down again to the different topics. From being speakers, moderators, they very diligently and in the organization. And I'm so proud to tell you that is, let's say, and I'd like also to commend our multimedia, etc. I won't just want to cut it short, but out of students, they are 24% to 1,000 attendees are students. And I strongly believe they will work hard to the food safety culture as well as waste management. They will have to retain the what they call that the health with regards to gut microbiome, about the sugar, the health effect of the sugar. So, we are set to meet them again, no? Meet pa rin. Kaya, I will end this not only the parting ways. We hope in the coming webinar. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Prof. Alcazabas. On behalf of all the organizers, we thank you for your presence today. We appreciate you supporting us on this webinar. Thank you so much and God bless. Now, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of all the students from Food Science and Food Safety to thank everyone who helped us make this webinar possible. First and foremost, to our Almighty God for letting us share our knowledge and time with all of our participants. We hope that all of our participants enjoyed and learned from the two-day webinar just like us. Special thanks to our professors who guided us for this event, Professor Maria Divina D. Alcazabas and Professor Rosalinda R. Loria. Our heartfelt gratitude as well to Chair Program, Maria Ligaiti Braganza for all the support. We would also like to thank and acknowledge the ICT IT Department, the Marketing Department, the Multimedia Department, the Philippine Women's staff, students, and professors. Thank you everyone and God bless. We will now end our seminar for today. The session will end as we sing the PWU hymn. Thank you for joining the two-day webinar entitled Convergence, Divergence of Food Science and Food Safety. Bye guys and God bless. Thank you all.